Well, hello and welcome. It's Amanda here. Welcome to Arts and Wellness Café. So glad you could join me. Take a seat, will you? Make yourself something nice to drink and just relax for the next 20 minutes or so. I'm going to try and keep it under 20 minutes. There's so many things I would love to share with you, but we're going to take it in small and slow steps. Well, I don't know why I said that. Anyway, just make yourself something to drink. I've got my 2 cups of tea, my herbal and my ordinary tea. And that really actually, I was just thinking, I never normally drink so much tea in one time. But what it is that it gives me about an hour, hour and a half, and I will do my, creative jump, not creative jump start, that's the name of a course online. Anyway, so, or a creative jump start. But it allows me time to kind of, what I do is I have my morning rituals. So I come into the studio, I light my candle burner, and I put in essential oils in there, and then I light my little smudge stick. I make them from the black sage in my garden, and so what that does is kind of also clear the air. Clear the air, and I just allow that to burn for a little bit, and it burns itself out. And also I'm hoping that that's a deterrent for the mosquitoes, which seem to, I'm not sure what it is, where the water is, because I don't have any open water, and that's the name of a film. But it must be somewhere in the studio that, I don't know, they like to gather, and then they come out and they bite me on my arms and my ankles. And they even bite through the clothes, these ones. I've never heard of, when we used to come to Barbados, the mosquitoes, you couldn't actually see them. They've now kind of been on some sort of steroids, it would seem. And they bite you through your clothes. It's just like they bite you everywhere, anywhere you can think of. Your hands, your fingers, your toes. Anyway, enough about mosquitoes. So I hope you've been well, and I hope that you have found your kind of creative flow. I'm also on Facebook developing what I call a intuitive creative practice, and it's really about that thing that you go to get you going, basically. What is that creative activity that, once you start it, it's gonna allow things to flow. If you're feeling stuck, you kind of, fall back on that, or it's part of your everyday practice that you do. And one of the things for me is either creating in my art journal, journaling, creating faces, creating backgrounds. I've got several little things that are in my kind of, creativity kit that I can go to when I need either a pick-me-up, or I need a bit of stillness, whether I need, so I'm experimenting with many supplies and materials, and you will see that reflected in my Instagram feed. It's not like one of these, really manicured feeds. And I thought to myself, it doesn't have to be, it's whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to doesn't have to be what the world thinks it should be when they go to an Instagram feed. There are so many places that they can go if they want that. From my feed, they will find an expression of the way I work. So I love working on different projects. I love working on different things. I might get engrossed on, a particular project. At the moment, I was sharing things about leather burning and wood burning, but it's just like, what I would do is I would get, so say for instance, if I had say 40, I don't know, pieces of leather scraps, I would just be picking them out. So for that half an hour, my morning session, I would just be grabbing a leather scrap and doing some wood burning or grabbing wood, but I would do them in batches. And then it'd be like, okay, let's do some art journaling. So then for, say, the next week, it might be all I'm doing is backgrounds in my art journal or faces. And so I allow my creativity to flow in that way, because I know that if it's the only thing I can do to stop the critic from, because the critic's always there saying to you, well, what do you think you're doing? So it's almost as if I'm giving myself permission to play, because that unlocks a part of my creativity where all the ideas come from, and I'm thinking, oh, do you know what, I could do this with this. I'm working with the leather, I can combine different colour leathers, and I can combine woods, and I can do the wood burning on both the leather and the wood and bring them together, and so it gives you the space to, it gives me the space to breathe. And so that really is an important activity. I don't know whether you can hear this clock in the background. This is a self-winding clock. You have to wind it every 24 hours, and it used to be my father's, and it serves me well in the studio. Can you see the kind of wings there? And so it was definitely, handmade. I'm not sure whether it was my father who made it, but it's a memory of him, and I keep it in the studio. And it also gives me, there is a story behind it which you'll hear another time, but it kind of, reminds me about the time that I have and that I need to be kind of focused on doing the things that I say I want to do. Okay, so I've been sharing about the Artist Materials Bank, and they're coming to a close. And if you haven't yet been, I think you need to really definitely get in contact with the Queen's Park Gallery. Welcome back. The camera ran out of charge, so I had to charge it, and I got sucked into other things. Hence, you can see stuff behind me. This is the white leather, I think I referred to it earlier on. Anyway, so I was talking about the Queen's Park Gallery. So they've still got loads of stuff there, so I'm not sure what's going to happen, whether they're going to do like an extended week, but definitely get in contact with them and you'll be able to maybe, gather some things. And I think, those of you who are teachers or know teachers who, whether it's a private school, public school, whether it's a summer camp, there are stuff that you can go down and get so that the children can use. And any artist out there who is thinking about, experimenting, if you want to kind of try some mixed media techniques, there's stuff down there that you can utilize. And, especially if you've got a very tight budget, then you'll be able to, use these things for free, obtain these things for free, practice, play, make things. If you've always wanted to make something, there's fabric down there, there's clothes down there that you can, take apart and use the fabric. So it's really worthwhile going to do, and I have shared some of the things that I've made as well. So it's always nice to see what other people are getting on with. And they're just a couple of the things that I do. I like jumping from projects, depending on how I feel. I do that because I've got to a point where I thought to myself, you very rarely think about how you feel. And I think that's common for a lot of us. We go through the things that we have to do, and it's only rarely that we stop to think, how am I feeling at the moment? So the things that I work on is based on what I feel like working on. So I've got some fabric projects that I started, and for the time being I'm on the leather and on, I've been making art journals as well. So that's the creative space that I allow myself first thing in the morning. you can do anything you want, what you feel like doing. And so that's my practice. It's part of my practice that I think it's important to allow myself to do, because you can always be sidetracked by the critic, and the critic is always there, kind of lurking in the background, saying, you know, well, we know what the critic says. Our inner critics often say different things depending on who you are, where you are, what you're doing, what you're trying to do. And so this for me is part of my intuitive creative practice that I have to do, because I have to give myself the tools. It's all about gathering your kind of creative tools that will enable you to get on with stuff. So, for example, I use written kind of creative play, so, or making journals. If I'm feeling a bit off, or if I don't feel like doing anything, I'll lay down colour on the paper, or I'll look at my supplies. So there are different things that I do that is part of a creative practice, that I can say, well, when I'm feeling this way, I can do this. Or if I'm feeling like I want to do something that requires you to kind of hone in and do lots of detail, I'll do the slow stitching, or now I'll do the leather burning and, you know, the pattern making, mark making, and things like that. So that's what I'm encouraging you to do, to try and find those things and their tools that you can reach to whenever you've identified how you may be feeling, or you may not even know how to even express. So that's where, for me, collage is a good one, where I'm just like laying down, adding, again, mark making, and usually the pieces that come out are usually pieces that you think, I want to work on this again. So I don't separate my creative play with, you know, the potential of it turning into something that I may use, or like the wood burning projects and the leather burning projects have all now moved on to something that I'm thinking, oh, this is really lovely. I mean, I think that, you know, somebody else might be inspired if they have it in their supply or their collection. Anyway, so the other thing I want to tell you about, so I'll show you the stuff that I'm making. We'll go through that. And Lifebook 2021. I'm one of the teachers, yay! I'm really looking forward to this. Lifebook, I first became aware of Lifebook in 2008, and it was one of the things that started me on my mixed media journey. And I remember an exercise that Tam did. She's got this, if you click on my link, and it will take you to the Lifebook Taster, which is what I was going to say. There's 30 teachers, including me, 30 teachers who are giving you 30 free lessons. So you can sign up and go through the range of different things. We're all different and we all do different work. So I've showed a glimpse of one of the things that I've done, which is going to be like a mixed media page, collage, lots of nice lovely paper, lots of colour, and then going in there with paint. So it's about freeing you up, just kind of allowing you to just play, and that's what that particular exercise is about. And then next year, the course starts in January, I think, for the whole year. You can pre-book. There's going to be giveaways as well. So if you sign up to the taster, which starts on Monday, if you sign up to the taster, every day there'll be giveaways. There's additional giveaways. There's so much stuff. You're going to be like, if you've taken it before, then you know what I mean. But I love doing faces, and I love doing, I do my own inspired faces, and now more so, where I used to kind of like, I'm focused on making up the face. What I do now is that I create a background and then I see what face is emerging. The other thing that I've learned to do, which I started doing in the leather, is even from a blank piece of leather like this, I'd spend time looking at it and I would see, like, I would see an image. So I've trained myself so much. I've trained myself so much in terms of seeing what patterns. So there are very faint patterns in this leather. Yes, it's been painted blue, but there are some shadows, there's some dark bits. So like, where is it now? I can see a face kind of like here, and what I would do is then extract that face, and you know, sometimes I'd see faces that I think, you're not coming out. But it comes with practice. So now on a blank page, I can see an image, usually on a blank page, but more so in like fabric or anything plain now. Yeah, I can pretty much see, you know, like remnants of a face. And so I just go with it and I bring them out, and there may be changes, and that's how this, I'll show you this now. That's how that happened. It was just a blank piece, you know, the tan leather, and I saw her face come out and the shawl bit, and that's the finished bit. I have got a video that I'll share on the process on how I created that, so you'll see what my process is. So Lifebook, sign up. I'll leave the links to sign up for the free taster sessions, and if you want to pre-book to the main, if you like, I already know I want to join Lifebook, then you can sign up and you get 20% off by using the code. Yeah, the whole year is going to be intense because there's going to be weekly, I think at least 2 videos a week. There's going to be so much, and it's a really nice way to connect with other artists. There's already over 10,000 people who have signed up for the taster sessions, and there's a Facebook group as well that you can connect with them. They're from all over the world, so it really is a lovely way to connect with other people. So I hope you join us, and I really look forward to connecting with you. I won't even give you a hint of what. I've got 2 additional videos coming out for the main Lifebook sessions, and they're going to be very different from the taster that you gather, and you're going to really kind of connect with more of the work that I do and what I hope that you do from this. And when you look at any of the other artists, so they may be using a totally different medium to you, but it doesn't mean that you can't transfer some of the tips that they suggest or some of the supplies that they're using into what you do. So when I think of collage, say, when I'm doing collage and creating marks and creating symbols, I can transfer the symbols into, say, Stitch Project, because I can stitch some of the symbols, or I can use some of the embroidery techniques. So some of the stitches, like cross stitch, so then I can create using that. I can do French knot, I can do straight stitch, and I can create patterns and make marks. I can then transfer the mark making onto the wood burning. So I've got straight lines, I've got dots, which can, represent the French knots or the paint like dots that you can do. So as you can see, or even now in the leather, so I can do again a whole similar or different set of mark makings. So when you see the artist's video and you think, oh no, but I'm into, say, papercraft, there may be elements that you can extract that you can then use, and think about the tools that you use. So think about, if you like with the papercraft example, if you have got either a Cricut or a silhouette machine that cuts out words. You can be cutting out the words and shapes, and they can be going in an art journal, or you can create a wall hanging, or you can take a template and cut fabric out, you know, cut the shape from fabric, or you can combine the two. If you look at Rachel Bellamy, Queenpreneur, she does a lot of mark making. She creates on paper that looks like, you know, fabric. When you think about a lot of the African fabric, the designs, the shapes, the colours, the marks, and she replicates that in on paper. And even some of the colours, like, as I said, the mud cloth, or if you think about shibori, the kind of tie-dye kind of effect, she'll get that kind of effect with the paints and the use of paints. So, and that's the great thing about mixed media. It is that you can use different materials and different supplies and bring them together and say, use it in one thing and then use it in a whole different thing. And that for me is heaven, really, because all the supplies that I brought over the years I can reuse. I don't need to say, well, yeah, I use that for paper craft and making my own cards and I can't use it again, but I can. And let's go and look at some of the things that I've been making, so that yeah, hopefully you'll be inspired, and it'll be great to see what you're making as well. So come on, let's go and we'll look at some of the projects that I've been working on. Okay, so here are a couple of the things that I've worked on. I shared on, let me put this down a bit. I shared on, I've already shared, shared a video where I've showed you the process of making this, and I've been playing with leather. Here's some of the leather that I have. I've got these colours, and up there I've got some brown leather as well. So I've been playing around, just been doing some different designs. I love this. But I'm going to be sharing these. You get a sneak peek here. I'm going to be sharing these at another time. So I wanted to see how to make, whether I could make either a pendant from this, or a mini wall hanging, I'm not sure, or, you know, have several together, I don't know. But I like the way this look, and this would look nice as a, maybe look nice as a pendant. So I'm experimenting. The other thing I'm experimenting with is this particular leather. I never used to stamp on it with the wood burning tool, because I didn't realise that if I pressed even harder it would come out, because initially it wasn't really, nothing was really coming out. So it was only today that I thought, let me, because I want to use the this as backing, let me see how it would work. The other thing I might do is add some felt at the back because it's quite rough. So anyway, I just added some more pressure and it's actually come out quite nicely, because what I thought I was going to do was add beading, which I still might do around here, but I didn't want it to look plain. I wanted it to kind of, you know, connect with each other. And I've got a few smaller ones I did a while back, and I was kind of adding bits together. So I like the way these look. The other thing I've been doing is stitching. So I've got lots of projects that are actually finished and they're here, and I need to share them with you. You've seen these guys. You've seen these guys. But you haven't seen the ones behind. But what I do is I always have some on the go. So these are the ones I'm going to show you. And this, what I do in here is, if I want to work on a couple, you know, like you're sitting down with the family and you don't want to be in the studio, but you want to do something creative. So I'll show you these. So this is my little container that I take backwards and forwards. And what have I got in here? Oh, I've got got masks that I've made. I was trying to put in like a fabric inner sole in my shoe, so I made a little inner sole. And anyway, and then I've got my fabric journal, which is just for my stitching, and if I want to you know, play with some designs, I can do that. And it's just, yeah, just like a journal that I can, you know, if I've got something that, like, I made this and I wasn't going to do anything with it, but I thought, let me put it in here, and it looks okay in here. So I don't like throwing things that I've made or cut out away. So this is a little kind of journal that I stick some of my threads in there, some needles, and you know, bits that I'm not sure what to do with. So this will probably end up being stitched in here. So let's look at the fabric projects that I'm doing. This was actually, I use it to hold, again, to hold threads. So if I'm not taking this out, then I will just take this and the piece that I'm working on. And this holds threads and some needles, yeah, and pins. Needles and pins, I'm sure that's a song. Anyway, so this is one of them that I'm working on. And see, I'm looking at it now and I'm not feeling it. So at the time, so it's a culmination of stitches. It's got some brads here, different fabrics, and what this needs now, I was maybe going to see if I could add some more stitching, but I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking, do you know what? I think enough is enough. So what I need to do is maybe add a backing and just finish this off, because I'm not feeling I'm not feeling that, oh, I really want to do some stitching on here, or there's areas that I want to work on. So that's what I'd probably do with this one. I would probably end it now. Maybe put some beading on, because it hasn't got any beading. That's probably what it needs, as opposed to additional stitching. But it's not to say that, like, I've just come to this bit where, you know, I've learnt some new embroidery stitches. So maybe like some French knots or some bugle knots, is it? I'm not sure. Maybe, or maybe just the beading. I might look through my beads and see, or buttons, and see what now needs to be added to this. But I'm not feeling any more stitches, and as you can see, there is quite a lot of stitching going on, and different colours. So that's this one that I've worked on, and this is the other one. I really like this one. But again, I've come to a point where, look at this, isn't it gorgeous? It's lovely, isn't it? Even if I say so myself. So I like it. So again, I could be working on art journaling stuff, and then, you know, come the evening, I'll do this and I'll add some more stitches. But this has taken place over quite a while, you know, like we've got some circular painted fabric here. So I would have done the painted fabric at one point. I did the main fabric, I dyed the main fabric, I did some tie-dye. I was trying to, you know, do some shibori designs. So I did that, and then I did some wax on this, and it was recently that I decided to add some stitching. The orange was really speaking to me in this piece, and so I thought, let me come in with some orange stitching. But yeah, that's this piece. So I'm really liking it. But at the moment, again, it's that feeling, okay, do something else and come back. And so you come back with fresh eyes and you come back inspired. I really liked the way these bits turned out. I had it for the longest without anything on it, with just the tie-dye. And yeah, as I say, I was inspired to do some stitching around it, and I do like the way that it's turned out. So I would be adding more beading. I need a backing as well. I'm not sure whether I want it to be this size or I want it to be bigger. I'm not sure what I would do to add to it, or whether, you know, it doesn't feel complete. There are other things that I do want to do with it. But I just say, okay, we'll put it down for now. And it goes in the... So this one hasn't got a title. I normally give the containers titles. So let's have a look. So we can see I've got hand stitched in progress 1, and I've got a hand stitched in progress 2 there. So hand stitched, it's like to be embellished, and then I've got completed, some more completed stuff over there that I need to share with you, and then the rest are, you know, things waiting. So fabric that have been painted and waiting to either be made collage wise into something, into like a wall hanging, or waiting to be the backing. So I've got some fabric that's waiting to be the backing as well. And I've got project ideas, so there's things I may have started, like I've got some fish in here that I started that I'm not sure whether it's going to be part of a wall hanging or a larger piece, or, you know, be added to pieces, or, you know, it's just in there because I'm giving it some thought. And then ones that I've made that are like at the really beginning stage of their journey, where they need to be machine stitched first. So I would normally, you know, do a lot of the machine stitching before I and create patterns before I then go in with the hand stitching. So these particular ones are to be stitched, small scraps, hand stitched, progress, tags and embellishments. And so that's it. So that's the sneak peek that you've got. If you're on my Patreon, one of my Patreons, then you will get a more in-depth behind the scenes. And yeah, I'm glad that I could share this with you. So take care for now, and I will see you on another Arts and Wellness Cafe.